Let's go and have a look at a funnel that should in theory be working. When we look at the funnel on paper, everything looks like it should be working perfectly. Now, I came across this quite recently where everything was set up great. I loved the targeting, I loved everything was happening there, but the funnel itself wasn't feeding out. So what you can see here is I have a traffic campaign top of funnel, a traffic campaign middle of funnel, and a traffic campaign bottom of funnel. So that's what top, bottom, and muff means. So the top of funnel, we're having a look at the number of impressions. We can see the reach. We can see the results. So we're getting some really good landing page views. The cost per result is low, and we've got a good spend. So I'm very happy with what I see here. Then when I come and have a look at our middle of funnel, now our middle of funnel would be to our warm audience. It's going to be targeting people who have viewed our website or had some interaction with us before. So this is a warm audience. This top of funnel is going to be to a cold or a lookalike or saved audience, and this is our retargeting coming in. Let's go and have a look and see what we can see here. Well, I can see my impressions has dropped massively, my reach has dropped massively, and my landing page views is only sitting at 65. So when I'm really looking at my results, so if I'm looking at my landing page views there, and then people coming back and looking again at my website is only at 65, I know there's a problem. I can also see my results. So my landing page view, cost per landing page view is $3.32 when my cost up here was only 27 cents. So this is telling me there is an issue. Then I have a look at my bottom of funnel and it's not even feeding out. Like there's a massive issue. The drop has been that substantial that we're not even getting any feed out here. Why would this be? What could the potential issues be? What is the process that I take when I'm reviewing a funnel? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is have a look at why my bottom of funnel isn't feeding out. The first thing I'm going to do is have a look at my top of funnel. I need to make sure that the top of funnel is functioning correctly. Am I targeting the right audience? Are the ads that I'm running real ads? So in other words, is it the type of content that is actually bringing people to my website because they are wanting to find more information about my business? Or is there an issue with the type of ad that I'm running at the top of funnel? Let's go and have a look. Having a look, so I know it's a traffic campaign. I'm going to ensure that it is. It's definitely a traffic campaign. There's no campaign budget spend limit here, so there's no reason that this shouldn't be feeding out. Let's go and have a look when we go at our ad sets. So I have a saved audience and a cold audience. They're obviously trying to see which of these is feeding out better. Let's go and have a look at these. I can see that there's no end date on here, so I know that these are still running out, and I can see that I have a fairly broad target, manual placements, and we're optimizing for landing page views. I know that I'm optimizing for the right thing. I know there's no ad spend limit. So let us go and have a look. All right, I can also see my audience. So let us go and have a look at our actual ads. The ad that is bringing the most in is this one here. I'm going to go and have a look at this particular ad. So let's do preview. Looking at this ad, this is one of the most popular articles, but the 10 mistakes lawyers make. Look, it's looking like a great article. It's telling me about lawyers' mistakes. The text is good. I can see that we have massive number of landing page views. I'm really happy with what I'm seeing with this ad. One of the things I want to point out here is when I do an audit, I don't like to know what the client is thinking when they are creating this funnel or when the agencies have created this funnel. I want to come in and look at this with completely new eyes. I want to be able to look at this ad and in my head figure out exactly what I'm expecting to see when I go into that website, who it is that this ad is about, who it's supposed to be targeting. Gives me a really good grounding on how the rest of the funnel is going to work. So from what I've seen from this ad, is it's talking to anyone who may be interested in lawyers. So this could be to me if I was taking on a client who doesn't pay. This could potentially be if I was a lawyer, what mistakes would other lawyers be making, or could I be making? So the audience for this and for this particular blog is really, really wide. It's a huge audience, and it's targeting anyone who has any interest in lawyers or what lawyers are up to. Bearing that in mind, let's go and have a look at the next step of the funnel. So my next step of the funnel is my middle of funnel. And what I can see here is the impressions has greatly reduced. Now, the reason the impressions is greatly reduced could be something to do with budget. It could have something to do with the audience size that we now have to be able to push this ad out to. So let's go and actually have a closer look at that audience. Over here, I can see they are targeting anyone who has visited this website in the last 7 days. And they've also got anyone who's visited the learning URL in 30 days. I can see this ad is not feeding out at all. Now, the reason that this ad could not be feeding out is because potentially no one has come onto this online learning URL in the last 30 days. Now, looking at the top of funnel was talking about lawyers and mistakes that lawyers make. When I clicked onto that website, which I haven't showed you because for privacy reasons, so when you clicked onto the website, you went to a blog that was telling you about mistakes that lawyers make. And those mistakes were not charging for your time, being time poor, targeting the wrong type of audience. So really, when I was looking at the ad structure in that ad, I wouldn't have been an ideal person to receive that ad or go into the website, but I would have, because if I was in a legal battle or looking at going into a legal battle, that ad spoke to me. I would have gone onto the website, realized it wasn't for me, and fallen out. Now, what does that mean? It means that for the next 7 days, I'm going to see their next lot of ads. And not being a lawyer, these ads are not going to appeal to me. All of a sudden, the 4,300 people in our funnel, we're reaching 3,400 of them, but only 65 of them are actually coming through. That's because a massive percentage of those would have been falsely hooked into the funnel. Automatically, I've realized that my top of funnel is part of my problem. The top of funnel, so the hook that I'm using to bring people into my funnel, is wrong. It's been poisoned. It's got the wrong type of people. I'm now trying to send ads out to people who are not interested in my product. And just to confirm that, what I'm going to go and do is actually have a look at one of the ads. So let's come and have a look at one of the ads. Let's see the one that is performing the best, this one here. Right, and now what it's saying is, you've been reading my blogs. Are you ready to take the next step? Lawyers, take the next step. Well, I read that blog. I went on there and had a look because I was interested in what mistakes do lawyers make. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to click on this ad. There's no reason for me to do that. I've automatically seen exactly where my bottleneck is in my funnel. My top of funnel was not speaking to the right type of people. My middle of funnel had the wrong type of message to those people. Other things that I probably have checked before getting to that stage. Again, let's go and have a look. I've made sure that I've got no campaign spending limit. I've made sure that there is a budget, and I'm looking at the budget. My budget for my top of funnel was $33. My budget for the middle of funnel is $7. I'm happy with that ad, with that split. If this had only been $1 or $2, that would also potentially tell me why it wasn't feeding out very quickly, because there wouldn't have been enough budget. But at $7 on $33, there should actually be some uptake here. Let's have a look quickly at that third ad set. So we had anyone who's visited our website in the last 7 days, and this has visited the online learning. So let's go and have a look at this ad set. I have a minimum spend of $2 on here. So they are trying to force budget out into this ad set, but it's not feeding out. And the reason it's not feeding out is it's targeting people who have visited a specific website in the last 30 days. But nowhere in the top of funnel was it pushing for people to come onto this URL. It was going to the blogs. A really important lesson here is it doesn't matter how great your funnel is in theory. If your ads don't make sense to someone coming through that funnel, you're not going to get those conversions. Clearly from here, they're trying to get people to purchase something or go through, learn about their products. They were doing a great job by running blogs at top of funnel, because blogs, if targeted to the right audience and the message is correct, you're going to get the people who are genuinely interested in your product reading your blogs. You can then retarget them. But that messaging at top of funnel was far too broad. And all that did was caused a massive bottleneck. So they've been spending $33 a day creating an audience that they cannot retarget to. So what is the solution? The solution is exactly what they've done. So they've come through to their top of funnel and they've turned off that blog. Perfect. We don't want that blog to be feeding out, and they're pushing on more of their other blogs. I can already tell you that this blog is not going to work, because the content on here is again speaking to a very broad audience instead of people who are potentially interested in their product. This is a product carousel. It's showing a cold audience exactly what they do. So anybody who comes onto this link here and they're already starting to get those views, they are going to be perfect for our target market. So I'm glad to see they've turned those off. This one's been turned on, and it's going to be pulling in people to that funnel. The next thing that I would go and do is I would go and have a look at our messaging. Actually, I wouldn't. The next thing I do is go and make sure that we're targeting the right people in here. So I have already had a look, and I'm happy with seeing that they're targeting any website visitor. But what I would want to do from here is make sure that the messaging that they are putting in here makes sense. Now I've already just seen that they've turned off their blog, and now they are coming through and they're already talking here about reading my blogs. So at top of funnel, the first ad I would have seen would have been a product carousel, what their products are. I haven't been reading their blogs. So the next message I get from them is about, you've been reading my blogs, and I haven't. So there's another issue that you can pick up straight away. The messaging needs to be concise and clear. When you're drawing up your funnel, make sure that you also draw up the messaging that's going to go in with that funnel. I also can see that this one is not going to feed out, because still at top of funnel, we are not getting anything that's bringing people specifically to this URL. And then from there, the bottom of funnel should start feeding out. But that's going to take a long time to pull people from the top of funnel, bring them through the middle of funnel before they hit the bottom of funnel. That may be on at the moment. It won't be feeding out until the audience size is big enough. So I hope you've learned something from understanding that it's not just the way that the funnel is designed, it's also the messaging that makes a funnel a success. So you can have the most perfect funnel on paper. And when I actually broke this funnel down and drew it up, on paper it made perfect sense. There was nothing wrong with the design of this funnel. The issue was the content that was associated with this funnel. Make it a habit that once you have your funnel set up, pretend that you are seeing this for a very first time, or get someone who hasn't seen your funnel to go through each step and ask yourself, does it make sense for me to be seeing this ad after the first ad? That first ad that I see, is it talking to the right audience? Am I speaking to the people who I am genuinely wanting to get involved with my funnel, that I'm going to retarget to, that are going to purchase or inquire or become a lead of some sort? Make sure that that is exactly what you are doing. I'm just trying to think of an example of the flow, and one that comes to mind is one I saw earlier today, and it was an article on the results of plastic surgery on celebrities. So interested in celebrities, I want to see the before and afters, and I went on and had a look at the before and afters, and then shortly after that was fed an ad from the same company that was for plastic surgery. Now, I'm interested in celebrities. I'm not interested in plastic surgery. That hook at top of funnel was probably the wrong hook. They're going to get people who are interested in celebrities looking at their article and not getting people who are interested in plastic surgery. There really should have been a different hook. Why are we spending money on traffic campaigns, bringing people in, and then spending more money on conversion campaigns for people that are genuinely not interested in our product? So in summary, make sure it makes sense. Make sure the messaging you're putting out there makes sense to the people that you are targeting, that you are attracting the right type of people. And when you have the right type of people in, make sure then that you are targeting the correct pages. If you are sending people to your blogs, make sure that at your middle of funnel, you are targeting people who have been onto your blog page or anywhere on your website. Don't go and target a specific product and people who've been there. Just because they've read your blog does not mean they have been through the rest of your website. It just means they have been on your website and they are potentially interested in your product. So think it through very, very carefully when you are designing and constructing your funnels. If you've got any questions or you want me to have a look at your funnel, make sure that you go onto our group page, put it in there. I'm always checking. I'm happy to help out where I can. Any issues or bottlenecks that you may have, happy for you to take a screenshot just like this, and I will be able to do an assessment on what I potentially think I'm going to see when I see these sort of results. Good luck!